right. I'm just going to get started. Hopefully, I got the feedback. The microphone was a little bit on the low side yesterday, so hopefully it is up to a better level today. So you can hear me better. Yep. A little personal screen isn't popping in here. Let's see. That's going to be Droid Cam. Even though it's an iPhone. Refresh. Activate. Let's see if my precious little face pops up here. Yay, look at that. See, I've got my new glasses on. So now at least it looks like I know what I'm doing. All right. So just kind of an update as far as from yesterday. I started working on a whole different section, and I just kind of realized that it just wasn't quite the right vibe. I'm doing a Star Wars sounding project, and it just, even though the orchestration sounded good, and I think the theme and the harmony was coming out okay, it just wasn't the vibe. It wasn't feeling John Williams Star Wars. So sometimes you got to do that. Anytime you're working, anytime you're composing, writing music, laying it down, if you realize that it doesn't quite fit the project you're working on, you gotta stop and reset. So what I did is I originally meant to, I'm doing 2 themes, and I realized I already had 2 different themes. So I've just marked them out as I've got my Rebels theme, and I've got my Imperial style theme, and I'm just going to continue this battle scene that I've been imagining in my head as I compose. I'm just going to kind of continue that through and work with both of those themes that I've now introduced, continuing that on. So it's going to be a little bit of writing today, but we'll just see how things go. And if anybody pops into the chat, let me know. Let me know you're here. I'd love to say hey. Okay. There you go. So let's go ahead and play back what we've got so far from about here. Hopefully you're all hearing this. The levels look good. I'm going to mute my microphone for a sec. I muted my mic. There it is. I was playing back a louder section. Thank you, Durkish. Okay, I'm gonna replay this because that's not even close to right. Yeah. No. I'm not in the right groove. I'm not in the right. It's not a good tempo. That's not a good signature. I'm coming back. Haha. Nice. Okay, so there I am. I'm going to turn the tempo off because I'm not hearing it today. My brain is so overloaded with stuff today. I cannot with that, that metronome. Do what you got to do, right? All right, so let me just listen to what that was. Are you kidding me? Oi, gotta love it when retroactive record doesn't record retroactively. Okay, let's just do it for reals. Dude, Durkish, that's awesome. Good job, man. Can't wait to see what you got cooking. All right, that's a little more vibe-ish. Okay. So don't want to do a whole lot. Don't want to do too much. Oof. Fingers are not happening. I am not a piano player. That's something, if anybody watches this, you're going to find out how not a piano player I am. There's the vibe. There's the vibe. Let me just lock you in a little bit. Let's see what happens. Oof, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on today. My brain is so fried. I'm struggling. And that's okay. Some days you struggle. I may just need to be nice to myself and give myself a break early today. Not right this second. I just want to see if I can power through this a little bit. It feels like it should be so simple, and my brain doesn't want to do it today. I got all of this over here that I just powered through like nothing, and now woof. Some days, right? And if you're like me with the ADHD happening there, so you got your autism and your ADHD both not handling each other very well. Yeah, that's a day. I think that's today. So. Oh, yeah, no, I feel you, Durgish, man. But yeah, I think the thing is, man, no matter what you do, you gotta be nice to yourself. Because if you try to push yourself too hard through some of these moments, you make it worse, you know? It's kind of like the memes of, producers and musicians. I worked on this thing all overnight. I was so excited to work on this thing until like 4 a.m. and it was super dope. And then I got some sleep, and then I came back to it the next day, and I can't imagine what the hell I was thinking when I wrote whatever I wrote last night. So yeah, gotta be nice to ourselves. What am I doing? Yeah. I want the feel to change there. I feel like there's a signature change, and I can't get my head around it. Come on, keep at it. You can do it. Is it really what I want to do? Just not. Needs a different feel. I'm trying to force the feel into something that it's not. Yeah, you might be right, Dirk. I'm trying to again, trying to force it. I've got these other rhythmic things going on. Alright, so how do like even earlier in these strings here, this is really, I need to be keeping to this. I need to come back into this kind of style. Yeah, I need to come back here, but Why not? I'm going to steal from myself. I'm going to rip myself off here. That's what I should be doing. I'm trying to make things too complicated. Yeah, I think this general bit right here is what I'm looking for, give or take. And this is why I like MIDI. So I can come in here and I could do something like not make it the same. I can just let's mirror what I did earlier. Just play on what I already did. Yeah. Just let it be a little more aggressive since it's only the cello. I'm only going to do a couple of instruments right here so it can be a little more aggressive on their own. And now we're cooking. All right, accenting. Yeah, thanks, Dirk, man. I just had to figure out how to get around my own dang head. Turns out the answer was steal from yourself. All right, I think that's all right. So just to kind of keep things moving, bring it down to the basses, drop it the octave. Okay, I'm going to duplicate. We're going to make this a variation on what we just did. Ooh, let's see. Straight up. Okay, that's a good start on this next little piece. Variation on a rhythm with and just reversed it for another pass through, just to kind of keep a little bit of a different flow. And really, we're just trying to keep these simple. You vary them to find the interesting bits. Things what make it interesting is the variations, but it doesn't have to be complicated. So I'm just going to stack the violas. little bit more aggressive at that dynamic than the cello. I'm going to knock those down just a smidge. And since I'm just writing, I'm going to worry about balance later. My template is set up, so I've got the delay compensation turned off, and so I've got a lot of stuff in the channels and tracks not turned on that will help tighten this up. But so I'm not too worried about balance-wise right now. Just getting stuff down. All right, so if we're coming out. I mean, it's just like a little bit like a, let's see, I'm heavy on the left side, so maybe horns. Might come in with horns for just like a little reflection on that rebel-y theme again, because I had this rebel theme back here that I was playing with the tenor trombones. That's so I don't need all of that. Let's see. So even just a little bit of that. We've got the, yeah. So I could simplifying that here. That's yeah, just a variation, simple variation. And I am in a different key. That was in G, so it's a D. I'm going to go to the horns. Yeah. That's the vibe. Timing. I want to hit that accent. Thanks. A little bit. All right. Hey, look at that. Retroactive record did its job. All right, so let me hear it. I was on tenor bones. I want that on the horns though, because that's over on the left side and my low strings are heavy on the right, so can bring that dynamic down because I don't want it buzzy and into that kind of quaver feeling or quivra feeling. Bring you down just a smidge. Okay. I'm still playing tenor bounds. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you know it's a day. I mean, solo everything. You know it's a day. Things like that happen. Sillies. Got the sillies going. That's what I want. A little less aggressive. And now it's on the left. Yeah, okay. So now I can more imagine kind of a breakdown here, like some of the pilots are engaging and they're trying to pull some stuff off, and they're talking to each other over the comms and calling out orders and stuff like that. Watch out, you got one on your six, you know. Or maybe it's you know, it cuts to a scene where the captain is talking to some of the officers on the rebel ships trying to escape. They're trying to figure out how to get to a hyperspace point or something. You know, that's kind of where that comes down, and I like where that's going now. Yeah, so it breaks it down, leaves room for some dialogue. All right, just a little tiny callback to that rebel-y theme that I did earlier, but it's in a minor key because everybody's in danger. Okay, I dig that. I can do more later, but I've got a direction. What do I want to do? Be... Some little accent in here. I like the vibe, just that was the wrong note on the bottom, but I can just do this. See about that. Oop, no. There we go. Too many notes. Dude, I'm happy to talk templates and share stuff with you. Yeah, I mean, if you got a question about template or you just want to talk offline sometime about templates, I am not a gatekeeper. I don't care. I am happy to share what I do. So yeah, you just let me know if you got something specific or you just want to chat later. But it's taken me a long time. It's a lot of trial and error and figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and just trying to wrap my head around stuff. I've tried all kinds of different template styles and finding out what the long way around is for composing, and kind of starting to whittle it down to work with how my processing, my brain power, my processing works. So yeah, I mean, that's, the short view of it. We can pull all the tracks out here. A lot more going on. Open up my folders. There we go. So you can see there's a lot more going on than what I had on the view, but always happy to chat. Yeah, there's a lot going on under the hood, but you know, you have all that stuff is also very distracting, especially when you have the ADHD brain. Everything is a distraction, and what I'm really working on a lot lately, just on a personal level, is not getting stuck in the little minutia of the details while I'm composing. Because I want everything to like sound perfect. I want that instant gratification of making everything sound amazing right now, instead of let me just write the thing and come back to it. So how do I just write the thing and then I can come back to the details later? And that saves so much more time figuring out how to look at everything, so I can just pull everything in, like just looking at the tracks that I have data on right now, because this is kind of the core of what I'm working with. I don't need to see a bunch of other stuff. I don't need to see my VCA tracks. I don't need to see my subgroups and stems and effects tracks. I don't need any of that right now. So anyway, that's just kind of where it's taken me a long time to get here. Yeah, Durkish, I feel you, man. It's yeah, I like it. I like it. Let's get that a little more power. And let's see, I'm going to fix all the lengths. These guys, now I can pull that back. Temper it a little bit. Yeah, and these guys, that I want that, give that triple-y kind of feel. These guys, I don't want those to be a blast. I want them just going to be a nice little... Let's just hear this. So let's see. I'm in the performance patch right there, so I'm going to commit those to staccatos now. No, not Stockmo. Not that. Why? Oy. My staccatos are down here for this one. I'm gonna try. Not that. Staccato tenutos. I liked it better on the performance patch. I'll just use the modulation. I just want these to be a little less sharp. Yeah, that's better. All right, so listen back to that section, see where I want to go. Yeah, I feel like it probably right in there, bring a little bit of the high strings in. But maybe not just copy, even if it's just a sustain. Real low, real quiet like. Let's see. Just a little bit, just a tiny bit of movement. Started it earlier. No, what am I doing? Okay. Hey to the kids. How's everybody doing down there, bud? Everybody good? I know you've been busy. Keep that real low here. Vibrato way off. Good, man. Glad to hear it. These kids get big fast, man. I feel like I blinked and my son's almost as tall as I am, and Nora, gosh, they're growing up so fast. It's wild that they're pretty much both teenagers. That's awesome. Locke and Nora didn't get the music bug, but they got the art bug. They're both so good at visual art, doing the drawing and painting and all that stuff. They're so good at it. It just blows me away. They're like their mom and their grandmas. But yeah, it's just, you just look at your kids different one day. Like, what happened? Why are you expect to see that little tiny kid playing in the yard in the leaves, and It's this little miniature grown-up now, and it's... I know it's cliche. People say that all the time, but it is so true. Let's see what you do here. Oh, that's awesome, dude. I love it. The kids like to sing. They're just not like... I know Locke, my oldest, he loves to sing, and it's part of like it's really interesting because it's part of like, well, he's not like, he doesn't pursue music as like a hobby or anything like that, which is totally cool. He loves music, and it actually, like, having music on, and because he's like me, he's got the ADHD going on, but for him, when he's listening to music, he sings along with it, but it helps him process. Like because he does like half his schoolwork at home, and be doing the lesson, and he's singing. It sounds like he's just having his own little party over in the corner with his headphones on. He's singing out loud, and watching the videos or reading something through school and doing assignments. But he gets through it. It helps him process. He struggles to process when he doesn't have that oral and vocal stimulation going on. It's absolutely fascinating. So it totally works. He rocks when he's doing it, but it's just different. I love it. Yeah, I feel like all these need to come down now. Which is all right. That's why we come back to it. I wasn't sure how mellow I wanted to be, but... is down a little bit, doesn't need to be heavy. Just giving them a little bit of an even out here since I dropped the dynamic on it. All right. I can detail that later, but that feels a little bit better. All right. Where to go with this next? What time is it? It's about 10:58. You know what? I think I'm going to be nice to myself and give myself a break. And I'm gonna call it, I think, for the day. On one of my other days, though, I did say I think I might add a choir to the big ending here, and I did. I ended up doing that offline. So if you want to hear it, I'll just play that real quick because it's big. So anyway, yeah. So we're getting our Attack of the Clones on there, or maybe a little Duel of the Fatesy kind of stuff. But anyway, Dirk, it's so good to see you on this. Peace out, man. And I'm gonna sign back on and do this again at 4:00. But if I see you, man, we'll chat offline about those templates and whatnot. Love you, dude. Thanks everybody else tuning in. Peace.